Hey guys, Borry Berry here. Sorry I haven't been doing much videos. In this video I want to talk about just where I'm at with my journeys and stuff. I think it's been at least a week maybe since I've done a video. um, but yeah, so I'm really happy to be doing this video. Um, as I mentioned in my last video, I've got some fancy gear now that I haven't even had a chance to really explore. It's a bit of overwhelming, but I'll get there eventually. So I'll talk about just where I am with the travels, and then I'll talk about some spiritual stuff. Just I mean, it's all related really, but yeah. I'll try to be organised a bit because it helps a bit. I can be very vague and you don't know where I'm coming from, and I understand that, and I've got to be sensitive to that because, you know, if you can't communicate, well, sometimes what's the point, you know? And especially with these videos, YouTube videos. So I'm in town tonight, Everell. I'm heading back to Mount Gambier, guys. There you have it. Some people know, some people don't know. Heading back to Mount Gambier. So, all my friends in Mount Gambier region. Look forward to catching up with everyone. Something I can say is that I'm really quite often think about and really blessed with is I have a lot of friends, and I'm really grateful for that. Yeah, so I'm in Everell, which is in New South Wales. I'm about just over 600 k's. No, sorry, not k's. 6 hours. Just over 6 hours from according to GPS, from Parkes. I'm heading to Parkes just for I think it's a one night stay with some, mentioned in another video, beautiful Christian family. Looking forward to that. And then yeah, doing a big trek, back to Mount Gambier through. I guess it'll be kind of like inland to the southeast. How exciting! I haven't done a video because I've been distracted and a lot going on spiritually. I mean, there always is, really. So a couple of things I want to talk about. Trying to have a bit of a theme, a bit of a topic. One is I definitely was amongst different people and just seeing who they're under, different people, and not getting in the way of that. It's wow. Because I am called to connect with a lot of people and I see a lot. One of the hardest things is to is learning to knowing you're seeing intense stuff, even bad stuff, good stuff too, and being able to filter and process what you're seeing and not be knocked about by it, because it can very quickly knock you about, or someone like me. For example, you can put your foot in it and start bringing up walls. So, wow. So the way I can explain it is it's everyone's from a spiritual city. That everyone has, as I've said in other videos, everyone has their masters and their fathers, and whether we like it or not, we're all being influenced by these spiritual realms, so to speak. I'm going to sound really kooky, but please bear with me. and I'll probably still sound kooky. So what happens is, because I'm moving around and because I'm sensitive to these things, and I don't know if sensitive's the right word, no. I'm aware of them. I see them. I see them spiritually. So what happens is I'm coming into these different I'm crossing into different cities. If you'd imagine, everyone's behind walls and structures, and so I'm constantly passing through walls, and yeah, so it's a very it's an intense thing for me, and there can be different side effects, different reactions. It's very hard emotionally too, because you do, in the most part, you almost have to pretend, just put that aside, and you'll go, well, why do you have to? Oh man, you'll be knocked on your ass pretty quick. You won't last very long, and you won't last along those people that you're connecting with, whoever they are. That's why I say that, because one, spiritually, it's very, one of the most foolish things you can do is just disregard spiritual forces, and just I'll say what I want and do what I want, and again, we all have different callings and different measures of grace, and walk in different powers. Wow, where was I going with that? So that was a big thing. I was aware of it prior. It still shocks me. It still shocks me just what strongholds and principalities are at play. There's a lot I could say there. I'll leave that. I was trying to think of what else I was meant to talk about, so I really should start writing it down. But let's just go with the flow. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, so I'm always learning. I'm always learning so much in these travels, and it's definitely sometimes hard in ways that people wouldn't maybe comprehend with me. Maybe they wouldn't. Yeah, it's not just physically. I feel like God really looks after me, practical needs and all that. But spiritually, it's, wow, blows me away, So exciting thing is, and again, I'm not going to talk about it. I won't bring this up until it happens, but looks like there's been more revealed to me about just what's on the table for my future and who I am. Definitely with this trip. It's interesting, because it was stuff God was speaking to me a lot for a long time about, and building up in me, and now it's become clear. Oh, that's for me. And again, being vague on YouTube and all that. But when it happens, I'll be able to obviously I'll release what it is. More vagueness. Yeah, so looking forward to going back to Mount Gambier. There's a few things that come up. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about too. So I found, I guess someone could ask, and I guess people have asked, and it's like, how do you be led by God in your travels? And I guess practically I'd like to go into that. Practically, I guess the first things is I do ask God. I go, God, oh, where do you want me next and stuff. I've really gone away from big prayers, guys. and I'm not against big prayers, but God's really unlearnt that in me, where it's like, just say heaps and I'll feel better when I pray. But no, I don't see it like that anymore. Now it's like, no, I know God's listening. So it's just a very different mindset I have now to prayer. I really don't mind at times just keeping it simple and just going, oh God, and just talking to him just like a son to a father. So there's that. So the first thing I guess you'd say is I'd bring it up with God, and I'll go, oh God, you've led me here. What's next? What are you showing me? And God's good, and you keep an ear out, and it's like, okay, what's he showing me? So the way I say it practically is, so the next place I'll normally go, and he'll only reveal it like right up until the moment I've determined to leave, which I've noticed that's been something significant I've really been led to do, is I'll give people dates, and I'll be very specific when I leave usually. I'm not saying that can't be altered, but there is no kind of like, I'll leave today because I feel like it, usually. Unless that's something God does, and that can happen. I'm not being religious about it, or, this is exactly how it is and nothing else. But most of the time it's like, hey, is it okay if I stay for the week? And then the person might go, it was with my cousin, and I said, is it okay I'll stay for the week? And they go, yeah, stay for the week. And that way they know, I know that's the deadline, and I really try to stick to that. Well, I do stick to it, unless something changes, and they might push me, and that's a thing. It's a thing. It's like, sometimes God require us to push something out of a person of God, and that's a thing. And I've been in places where people will push me for things, and or push things on me, and it will be a good thing, and it will be a God thing, and it's not always just yes, no. Sometimes it's like, hey man, I really need to push something with you, and then sometimes it'll be something I'll be aware of, where I'm like, if they push for this, I'm going to give them this. That happens a lot to me. It's sad how much people don't draw on it, but that's another topic. Where it happens a lot, where I can see spiritually there was something they could have pushed for, but they didn't. That's most of it. Every now and then they'll actually push for it. That's a really hard thing, because it's most of what I'm talking about is spiritual and spiritual nature. It doesn't fit with religion. And if you're looking at it in the way of what I'm teaching or talking about, and you go, oh, this is for everyone, and it's a set linear thing, you'll really miss it, and you'll really misconstrue it. That's not how you understand what I'm talking about. You take bits out of it, you hear what I'm saying, and some things you won't hear, and it's not for you. It should come as encouragement. It's like, oh, so when I was hearing this and this is going on, he's actually explaining that. That was a spiritual thing that was happening to me. I thought I was going mad, but it makes sense. Wow, God, you're really showing me something here. That's me. That's what I do. I encourage, and I bring up spiritual things about spiritual warfare and spiritual dynamics, things of spiritual nature, and it should be heard spiritually too. Wow, I'm really going to confuse some people watching this. Hopefully not. Hopefully, I know it would do more benefit than not. So where was I going? Yeah, so with how God reveals things. So, and then usually when something comes up, and this is for me, But God, it'll be the only option I can perceive. I can spiritually see the only option. For example, Mount Gambier. I had some stuff on my head. There'll be stuff in my head, right? So in my head, if I was to practically tell you, I was thinking about going to my hometown, Orange, doing big camp and all that. But it was just in my head. It wasn't something God was going, that's for you, go there. And you might go, well, how do you know that? Experience, listening to God, learning. That's his voice. That's just me processing, etc., yada, yada, yada. Now, there's other things that come into play. Signs. Remember, I would have said in one of my old videos somewhere about spiritually there are signs. There's confirmation. There's signs. There's doors that open, doors that close, and they're signs too. And so let's practically look at this scenario. And I think this is a really good example of how I hear God with where I go and where I don't go. There's a religious mentality. It's just rubbish in so many ways. And I'm not saying this doesn't have its place either. With serious things it does, which is, I'll explain it, which is I'm going to do nothing until God says. Now, wow, I'm going to butcher this, but I'll try to come at it. So, when it comes to really serious things, things that are maybe even dangerous in nature or spiritually dangerous or whatever, that can be definitely a way to go about things, where it's like, God, I pray, I bring this up with you. This is going on, rah, rah, rah. I'm going to do nothing until you say something because, this is really serious. So that's where that will have the place. Now, when it comes to going as a prince, as a child of God and going out, and you apply that like religiously, like I said, religion will just one size fits all, and this is how you do this, and this is how you hear God, and don't you get in the way of anything else. But I found more often than not, when it comes to being led by God, it's not like that. They're still bringing it to God. They're still listening for God. But when you realize how the Holy Spirit talks to you and how he communicates, not just with go here or go there, you realize your thoughts aren't just your own, and God's already there ahead of you. So practically, okay, so let's come back to my decision making or being led by God to go back to Mount Gambier. So then I'm at this place staying with a friend, well, not with a friend, but staying, I'm in my van, but staying, how do I say it? I don't normally sleep in people's houses. Sometimes I do, but it's pretty rare. I sleep in my van, so it's usually a spot for my van, so that's how I visit people. And it's really good because you get to use their toilets and cook with them and stuff. I'll come back to some things. So so how God leads me with traveling. So like I said, I've had this Orange, New South Wales thing, camping thing going on, but it wasn't God talking to me yet. It was just in my thoughts, something I wanted to do, which isn't bad. Again, I'm living out of condemnation. So sometimes if you're caught up in religion and legalism, it's like, oh, that's my own thoughts and this and that. No, don't be scared. Stop living in fear and condemnation. That's actually not of God. And you need to get on top. You really need to bring that up with God and just be like, God, this is, repent. And I mean repent as in turn away from that. Go the other way. Anyway. And so that's in my head, and I'm like, yeah, go to Orange. And I even said to people, again, I'm communicating with people, and I'm like, oh, I'm thinking of doing this. Again, I'm not going, I will do this yet. And then I'm staying with my friend, and I'm like, oh, I'm running out of money. so often with the doors and stuff and the doors shutting, absolutely look at practical things. Absolutely. You're weighing up the practical with the spiritual. It's all combined. It's related. It's, in fact, stop seeing it as separate. Again, legalism, religion. It'll separate it. Oh, this is spiritual, this is holy, and this is just practical every day. And it's like, oh, it's all compartmentalized, but God's right in it. Together. It's all together. It's related. In fact, everything happens spiritually first. So your wallet, I dare say it, your wallet is just as spiritual as your praying with God. It's not separate, guys. You understand? Man, even practically, where does your money go? Where your treasure is, their soul is your heart. It says it in the Bible. It's not separate, guys. My van, how I live in here, how I eat, the food I eat, it's not separate to spiritual things. Wow. There's a lot there. Yeah, so back to the decision and now knowing that God's guiding me back to Mount Gambier. So money's starting to run out and I'm like, wow, it's really running out. I wasn't worried, but I was like, oh God, you've got me and I trust you. And I'm like, okay, money's starting to run out because I'm just using it up too quick. And when you move, it really chews up my money. If I was to constantly drive, it would chew my money quicker than my money comes in, if that makes sense. Because I did mention I was on a pension now, which thank God is amazing. So my money's running out and I'm like, oh. And then some things God, again, I won't say too much, but something God was doing and told me about that would happen with someone in my family, good things, came to pass, which is amazing. It's like, oh, God did, well, I was really excited, but I wasn't surprised because God had told me. And there's a practicality of being there to help them with that. So that's come up. So the signs start coming, right? And then before too many signs came, I was like, oh, God. It was just obvious. God was speaking to me and it was like, yep, go back to Mount Gambier. That's your next destination. Cool. And how do I say that felt? It was just God's peace about it. And God's like, well, there you go. And again, as much as my course was now set, my heart posture, my heart position was, if God came in and completely told me something else and derailed it, I'm open to it. Usually doesn't, because usually I am hearing God saying, yeah, go there. And there won't be other options either. And that's maybe specifically for me too, because I've really asked that from God. I've gone, God, I make it simple for me because I'm simple. I don't want to complicate it or get in the way of what you're saying. And it is very simple to me where to go, where to not go. Yeah, so there's just and then more signs came afterwards. So I made the decision. It was kind of set. Boom, start telling everyone I'm going back to Mount Gambier. And then there's helping out a mate. There's and I'll be able to rest a bit and build up the money again. And then things are being revealed in my heart. And this isn't necessarily God saying go here next, but I'm starting to desire where to go next, which is probably Adelaide after I kind of linger for a few months. How cool's that? And there'll be a real peace about the places. There'll be a real drawing that God will do with me. And part of that is because my spirit has matured where I want to be, where God is, where He's leading me, where His grace is, where He's using me, and there's that flow and intentionality and purpose. And it was funny because I might have said this in another video, but someone said to me when I was in Brisbane or Gold Coast, they go, "Oh, you could keep going up north and stuff," and it made me think. And I said, not interested. And they kind of looked at me and went, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "I'm only interested. I'm so broken like this, guys. I'm only interested in going where God's taken me, where there's connections, and it's not, if God was taking me somewhere, there's not necessarily connections that I've connected with, but yeah, and I'm open to that, but yeah, there's nothing in me that desires me just to go somewhere for the sake of it, and unless God's like, go here, go camping here, go do this, so, and that's so liberating, guys. It's so liberating because in my situation, there are a lot of choices. There's so many choices, and rather than being overwhelmed with choices, I'm being led. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is fantastic. Yeah, 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 that was my auntie rant. See, bit of humour. You know, you got to throw it in there. It's like cooking. Oh yeah. I'm shocked at this last trip. So I was in Lismore, staying in Lismore, which is kind of wow. They had a real bad flood there and stuff, and that was amazing. Just yeah. So I was shocked, guys, how much my cooking was not only enjoyed by so many people, but just how it connected us. Like, I had a Borscht night with all these new friends I had. Like 4 different new friends in one house. All new friends. How cool is that, guys? Remember I talked about this on videos. How there's people undiscovered that are called for me to connect with in some capacity or be friends with. And I'm meeting these people, these heroes, from all walks of life, and the tales that come and whatnot. Yeah, and the borscht was amazing, guys. Borscht is like a Russian soup, beetroot soup, and it was so cool. Maybe I might release in different ways some of the photos. With that, maybe it might be one of the ones, the thumbnail for this video, maybe. Yeah, just seeing how food impacted people. Like, I was shocked, like, and some of the dishes I do, they go a long way. And I probably only did 4 different dishes. I guess I know a few different dishes. I did some like more kind of Italian style pasta kind of sauces. And yeah, people were just loving my food, and they're like, "Oh, that's amazing." And the friend that I was mainly, I guess you could say I was staying with, even though I wasn't in the house, but she loved the food because she's a student and all that. She's studying, and yeah, she just how much she was like, "Oh, I don't really cook," and and just how people enjoy my food, and it's like, wow. I was shocked. I really was, because I knew I was a good cook, but because I put love into it, That's the ingredient. That's the secret ingredient there, and I'm not joking with that. Stop laughing. Stop laughing at me. But yeah, it really is a secret ingredient. Yeah, just people being so appreciative, and food's a big one. It's again, don't separate things that you think are physical and that's spiritual. It's all connected, 100%. It's actually quite foolish to separate the practical from the spiritual. It really is connected. It's just, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's where I'm at. And there was a little, I guess, in depth of how God practically, the gears and the cogs of how God guides me along. I'm always a student. I'm always open to being surprised and being wrong. Even what I'm saying here, because I am teaching. I'm definitely teaching. And that's hard for me to say that because I never really saw myself as a teacher. But part of God's revealing to me is showing me, oh no, you will be teaching people, not only just because I guess I've really had that. I'm just an encourager and kind of like this real take it or leave it. I'm just going to be the cool guy on the outside, man. No responsibility, dude. And it's like, well, nah, things are getting serious. Things are getting serious where it's like, people are responding differently, and I'm realizing there's stuff I'm experiencing and God's teaching me that people do need to hear. And it is rare, and maybe some of the things I'm learning, it might be rare or even unheard of to a lot of people. I'm shocked, guys. Seriously, I'm shocked. I'm shocked about what I can carry, what I have at times, and people are like, oh no, I never heard that. I never had that. That's a really good perspective. That really helps. You've really revealed something to me, or, and yeah, and I'm really seeing things that I wasn't ready for. Now I'm being ready for it, and God's able to have me functioning in a different. This is gonna sound weird, but frequency. He's talking about frequencies. It sounds like an ambulance. You gotta love humor, don't you? Yeah. So guys, I'll be hopefully by the end. Wait, what's it today? Tuesday. Yeah, by the end of the week, probably should be in Mount Gambier. Yeah. Thanks, folks. Please like and share, subscribe if you haven't. Please, if you like my stuff, if you think there's a message for someone else, or please promote me, get the Borry out there. Yeah. Stay in touch. God bless.